Let's be honest, when you first look at Sakamoto Days, you might expect a lighthearted series about a retired, chubby ex-assassin living out his quiet life. But anyone who's actually watched or read the manga knows the truth. This is not your average slice-of-life comedy. It's a full-blown action roller coaster where assassins are swinging chainsaws, collapsing towers are being held up by hand, and even candy is powerful enough to stop bullets. So today, we're going through the 17 craziest feats in Sakamoto Days, the moments that made fans double-check what they just saw. Rewind the scene and think, wait, did that really just happen? You are warned for spoilers as this covers some manga scenes too. Let's jump right in. When Takamura shows up in the death row prisoners arc, you just know things are about to get wild. But even then, nothing quite prepares you for the scene where this old assassin, looking like he just wandered out of a retirement home, slices through an entire base of Tokyo Tower in the blink of an eye. One swing, that's all it takes, and suddenly the whole floor splits in half like someone just opened a giant zipper in the middle of the building. Concrete, steel, pillars, none of it even slows him down. This isn't even young Takamura, this is the older version. According to the official notes, even at his age, he can cut through buildings and support pillars like they're sheets of paper. Basically, if Takamura ever took up gardening, entire neighborhoods would vanish every time he trimmed a hedge. If Takamura is destructive, Sakamoto is, well, ridiculous in a whole other way. In the very same arc, Sakamoto performs what has to be one of the most absurd yet heroic moments in the series. He stops part of Tokyo Tower from collapsing. Yes, you heard that right, a section of one of Japan's most famous landmarks starts to give way, and instead of running, Sakamoto grabs a steel cable, braces himself, and pulls the upper section back into place. Imagine holding up tons of metal with nothing but your bare grip, while wearing your dad bod retirement outfit no less. He holds it long enough for others to escape, basically playing tug of war with gravity itself. The anime even highlights the sheer strain on him, showing the cable quivering under the weight. It's both comical and awe-inspiring. Classic Sakamoto style. Osaragi is the definition of unassuming at first glance. She's petite, soft-spoken, and polite. But put a buzzsaw in her hands and suddenly she's out here sending opponents flying through rows of houses like they're being shot out of a cannon. During her fight against Dumb, she swings her collapsible chainsaw with such brutal force that he's launched clean through Torii gates. A single swing from her and suddenly real estate values in the area take a nosedive. Takamura is first shown sleeping in a car alongside his fellow order members Hyo, Nagumo, Shishiba, and Asaragi, all of them casually leaning on his katana. At one point, Hyo warns Asaragi to drive more carefully since Takamura keeps bumping his head against the window. While the group chats about the death row escapees, a fly suddenly drifts in front of Takamura. Instantly, he unsheathes his katana, forcing the others to duck as his slash cleanly slices off the top of the car and even a nearby highway signpost. Afterward, Nagumo casually remarks on Takamura's terrifying skill, calling him a killer with no brakes, while Takamura quietly mutters to himself. Not all feats in this series are about brute strength. Shina Sakura, the clairvoyant with psychic abilities, proves that sometimes the scariest powers are the invisible ones. Shin can do more than just read minds, he can rewrite them. And not just one person's mind, but an entire town's at once. Shin's signature ability is his powerful clairvoyance, allowing him to perceive and feel the thoughts of individuals within a 400-meter radius. With his abilities, Shin essentially puppeteers crowds of civilians, forcing them to comply with his commands. Imagine walking through a town square and suddenly everyone freezes mid-step or turns on command. It's chilling to watch because it shows the sheer scale of his psychic reach. Sure, Sakamoto can punch through steel, but Shin can bend entire populations to his will. That's a whole different level of terrifying. Sakamoto doesn't just rely on brute strength, his reflexes are almost comedic in their precision. One early fight demonstrates this perfectly. Facing down Shin, back when they weren't allies, Sakamoto flicks a tiny cough drop at an oncoming bullet. The candy hits mid-air and slows the bullet enough to harmlessly deflect it. Think about that for a second. He didn't use a weapon, he didn't dodge, he threw candy, and it worked. Later, he repeats this trick with gum, chopsticks, and even popsicle sticks, proving that in his hands, anything can be a weapon. If anyone ever doubts Sakamoto's skill, just remember he once beat a bullet with a cough drop. Sakamoto versus a mechanized dinosaur skeleton. This massive animatronic beast is armed with lasers and missiles, but Sakamoto doesn't even flinch. He goes in barehanded, tearing ropes, smashing metal joints, and ripping off limbs piece by piece until the monster collapses. The whole fight feels like a mashup between Jurassic Park and a mecha anime, with Sakamoto playing the role of apex predator. It's chaotic, destructive, and one of the best showcases of his brute strength in the entire series. Only in Sakamoto days could you see someone stop a speeding bus with a street sign. A bus full of innocent bystanders barrels out of control. Without hesitation, Sakamoto plants a signpost into the road, braces himself, and uses it like a lever to bring the bus to a grinding halt. The tires screech, the sign bends, but the bus stops. And most importantly, the passengers are safe. It's a heroic feat that looks utterly absurd on paper, but in the world of Sakamoto days, it's just business as usual. We've already seen the cough drop trick, but Sakamoto doesn't stop there. He's basically the MacGyver of bullet defense. At one point, he flicks chopsticks with such precision that they block incoming fire. According to his official profile, he's used popsicle sticks, candy, and even random household objects to neutralize bullets. It's ridiculous, but it highlights his true superpower, resourcefulness. Give him literally anything and he'll find a way to turn it into a weapon or a shield. Kumanomi, equipped with electromagnetic gloves, brings a whole different flavor of destruction to the series. In one standout moment, Kumanomi showed just how strong she is when she used her magnetic glove to pick up a crane truck and throw it straight through a wall. Her punches packed a serious punch, too. In the Assassin Exhibition of the Century arc, Kumanomi proved she could keep up with Shishiba, landing hits on him and even swinging around the crane of a truck to launch him through the air. When Gaku debuts in the Death Row Prisoners arc, he immediately proves why he's feared. Alongside Uzuki, he storms the JAA headquarters, the literal police force for assassins, and slaughters his way through it. In just 2 minutes, he claims around 40 lives, dodging and deflecting gunfire as if bullets are moving in slow motion. Armed with a massive mace, he swings it with such force that entire groups of agents are wiped out in single blows. The carnage is terrifying, but it firmly establishes him as one of the deadliest fighters in the series. If Takamura represents unstoppable destruction, Gaku is raw chaos in human form. Finally, we come to one of the most delightfully absurd feats in Sakamoto's prime. During a pursuit across a collapsing bridge, a car dangles over the edge with passengers trapped inside. Instead of panicking, Sakamoto grabs a nearby fishing rod, hooks it onto the bumper, and reels the entire vehicle back to safety. A flimsy rod meant for catching trout being used to haul up a multi-ton car. It's equal parts heroic rescue and comedy skit, perfectly encapsulating his character. Chapter 165 gives us one of the wildest demonstrations of just how untouchable Takamura really is. Sakamoto thinks he's finally found an opening. His plan is to damage Takamura's katana by pelting it with gunfire, hoping to dull the blade and tip the fight in his favor. Smart idea, but against Takamura, it backfires spectacularly. Instead of breaking, Takamura actually uses the bullets to his advantage. He blocks them with his katana, letting each shot glide perfectly along the blade's edge. Instead of wearing it down, the gunfire ends up sharpening the sword, like watching someone polish steel in the middle of a life-or-death fight. Sakamoto is stunned, and before he can react, Takamura closes the distance and lands a deep slash that draws blood. It's a moment that nearly overwhelms even Sakamoto himself. Nagamo tries to intervene with a clever distraction, but Takamoto's heightened senses keep him firmly in control. And this series constantly delivers moments that blur the line between comedy and pure action spectacle. What makes these feats so fun isn't just the scale of destruction, but the creativity. That mix of absurd and awe-inspiring is what makes Sakamoto Days such a standout. So tell me, which of these feats blew your mind the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more anime deep dives. Until next time, this is AniVerse, signing out.